Hi, it's McCare with More Prana Gardens. I'm in North Texas in Zone 8A, and today I'm going to show you how to start seeds if you don't have nursery pots or stuff like that. If you don't have a soil blocker, you can use things that you find around the house like this. This used to be a vegan cheesecake container. And I just poked holes in the bottom of it, and away we went. And you can see, the fun thing about that is that you can see what the roots do. So, let us get to this. I'm going to show you with larger seeds just because it works easier and because it's easier for you to see it on the camera. This had ginger from the store. I made ginger candy, so that's all gone now. And it has really big holes in the bottom, so I'm just going to lay a paper towel in there. You don't have to do that part, but I have really fine potting soil over here, and I don't want it to go through those big holes. And then my seeds have been soaking. So I have peas, and I have nasturtiums, and those have been in here soaking. And then I also have some calendula that we're going to put in with them, but I didn't soak those seeds. They don't need to. A lot of your bigger seeds like to soak. If you read on them, the packet, or if you go online and read about them, they'll let you know. So once I've got my paper towel down there for my drainage holes, I'm going to come over here to my potting soil, and this is old potting soil that I refreshed with new bagged soil and some vermicompost and some cocoa coir and a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi. So I'm going to pat that down in there. And I'm going to make it a little deeper than I had this one, because I'm going to leave these in here possibly longer. Alright. Hey you. Alright, there's a little beetle. Here, go in the houseplant. You can see my houseplants are out here getting some very cloudy sun, but really they're sitting in a thing, they're bottom watering and having some compost tea. Alright. So see, it's just about 1.5 inches deep, I guess, measuring by my finger. And I'm just going to press it down lightly. And then I'm going to give it a real quick spritz with the hose, just because it is dry-ish. And I'm not going to do that over my table. Alright. Now, I'm going to use my diblet. A dibber is a thing that you can poke in the ground to make a hole without digging. This is a miniature one, so it's a diblet, not a dibbler. And it just makes a little hole. Now, if you don't have one of these, you might have one of these. And if you don't have one of these, you or someone near you might have one of these. But whatever you gotta use, you just want to poke a little tiny hole. And I just use something so that my finger is clean to pick up other things later. I'm going to stagger my holes. I'm going to come show you about that in a second. But I'm just going to punch holes in here, and that's what my seed's going to sit in when I put it in the soil. And this is not neat and tidy. It's not perfectly organized. It's just holes. And I poked them in a diamond shape so that it gives it more space. Alright, and then I'm going to take a nasturtium seed and I'm going to poke it in a hole. Bam. And I'm going to put nasturtiums on one side of this, and I'm going to put my peas on the other. I'm going to add one little hole there because I left a place for it. Alright, you're a pea, nasturtium, pea, get in there, pea, nasturtium, nasturtium. We're just going to drop them in the holes. Now, different plants take different rates, obviously, to germinate. So this tray of peas I started on Sunday, and today is Friday. The nasturtiums that I started on the same day are not ready. They haven't even like popped up through the soil at all. But these peas are ready to move on to their next location. And since these are, I already planted the peas for the chickens. These are the peas for the humans, or some of them. I'm gonna succession sow them. So I'll do some now, I'll do some when the helicopter is gone. Okay, now that the helicopter's gone. So, I did mostly peas. So from here over it's peas, and from here over it's nasturtium. And then I told you I was going to poke some calendula in there. I'm going to put them in the same holes as the peas. And what's going to happen is, like, you can see the peas pop up really quickly. But the calendula, I'm putting calendula in the same hole as the peas. The calendula are going to take a good bit longer. And I'll show you a comparison in a minute. I'm done poking my fingers in the soil. Oops, almost doubled up on that one. Alright, oops, get back in there. Okay, so I told you I started these 5 days ago. But this calendula was started almost 2 weeks ago. So if you imagine, once this starts to like fill out, they're just starting to get their second leaves. See? Once this starts to really fill out, these will be really tall. So this will provide ground cover at the base of the peas one day, in the one that I couple planted like that. Put him back down there. All right, from this point, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get down here in my cocoa coir bin. I could use more of my potting soil, but that stuff is precious. I'm just gonna take a scoop of kind of dry cocoa coir, and I'm gonna spread that on top. And it's going to fill in all the gaps. And it's going to cover those seeds so they have dark, and so that they can have moisture on top of them. And I'm just going to cover them until I can't see them anymore. And I'm going to give them a quick spritz again. Now, one of the reasons that I watered this soil first was so I wouldn't wash the seeds around when I was trying to get a lot of water into them. And you can see even with the paper towel, it's going to drain through just fine. And then I'm just confirming, that after I have spread the cocoa coir on top, all my seeds are still covered. So from here, I'll take this inside and I'll put it on my grow rack. And they'll stay in there. Once those come up, then I'll take them to the next step. I'm going to show you really quickly what we do once they get to this stage. All right, so here we go. I have a fabric pot right here that I just sat on was wet, and now I got the wet booty. All right. So this is a fabric pot that I filled halfway with the potting soil, the same soil that I used here. I'm going to take something to stick a hole in there. Now, when it's time to take these apart, all you do is you pick one, you grab down And you see how I'm grabbing around the base of it? And then I'm just gonna gently pull it out of there. And see, his roots came with me. All right. I'm gonna tilt this so you can see what's going on in here. I stuck my dibbler in there. I'm gonna make that hole a little bigger, bigger, because of how much roots this has. So I'm just gonna pull out some soil. I'm gonna tuck him down in there, push down, and then pull soil around. And he's all potted up and ready to go. So this is a method. You can also start in nursery pots. You can start in those egg cartons. I've tried it. It's hard to get the moisture right, and it doesn't leave them a lot of room for roots. So if you're going to be moving stuff on from that quickly, you can do it. If it's something that's going to have to stay and grow, I wouldn't do that. And then there's also always soil blocks. So if you want to see the soil block video, you're going to click up here. And if you want to see a video that YouTube has picked for you, you're going to click down here. Alrighty? And I think that's going to do it for this. Later, y'all.